Hey, hey, good morning. Listen, I'm wearing my Gen X shirt, y'all, and I felt it was so appropriate to dive in to some of the commentary I have received regarding my commentary of how the interview and the subsequent reactions based on the outcomes. Okay, so I went and see, I purposely tagged her because, again, see, one of the things that is, I really, because I wanted her to see it, because I don't believe that, as one of the young people said, I was coming for her. But again, there was a lesson to be learned here. Thus, my channel is called TJ Life Lessons because, see, I'm 57 and I've lived long enough to teach some classes in session. Classes in session. But before I do that, though, I wanna play her video. Let's take a listen.
I can tell some of you guys are delusional as hell. Like, why would I ever wait for an airline? That's dumb. When I could literally go do something somewhere else with someone else. Why would I ever wait when somebody already gave me a no? Y'all crazy as fuck. Why would I wait in a year when in a year I might be in a whole different place in a whole different reality? I'm already back in school. So what the fuck are you talking about in a year? In a year, I'm going to be focused on a whole different priority and a whole different mindset of things. Time waits for no one. Okay, let's be serious. I can tell some of you guys.
Let's peel that back. Okay. So the comment was, let me read it. The comment reads exactly, she should have just thanked them for their time and reapplied in a year. What God has for you is for you. But I'm sure she has no understanding of that. Now, here's the thing. What she said is absolutely right. But see, and I'm using this as an example because some of you also talked about in the comments coming for her. Just like I'm putting out my opinion, you all have your opinions about what I'm saying. When you put it out there, it's for people to comment on. And you may not like when and where they do it. Well, I just saw it. So I'm commenting on it because it's a what? Life lesson. And that's my platform, TJ Life Lessons. But see, since we're throwing out words, try these words on for size. Delusion. We understand what that means. Let's talk about another word. Myopic. Myopic means weak-sighted. Also meaning lack of foresight. When we were suggesting that you wait a year, no one is saying to stand still and do nothing. That would be ridiculous. But see, here's another thing that many of you all fail to understand. The ability to receive constructive redirection, that's feedback, constructive criticism, whatever you want to call it. Put it in your bank and pull it out when necessary. What am I talking about? The way that you responded, because even in my message, I was not adversarial. I was teaching, not just you, but somebody else who may be in your shoes. Because see, but when you respond in such a way, just like you did with the outcome of the interview, with the outcome of their response to you saying that they were, you're not eligible, every action has a reaction. They reacted to your post. And I'm going to tell you this in just about everything in life. Your attitude towards certain things can and oftentimes does affect your altitude. Because let me tell you something. I call him my nephew, but he's not my nephew. He used to do my lashes before I couldn't wear them anymore, and do my hair. And he has a very thriving lash and hairstylist business. Thriving. He applied to an airline just before COVID hit. Had an interview, it was going great. No fault of his own. They weren't able to do it, whatever, because COVID shut things down. A year later or so, they invited him back. He was still doing his life. He decided, he didn't want to do it then. But later he said, let me apply for something else. He got it. So you can do both things. Now he's flying the friendly skies. But let me tell you something else that we learned. That I'm wearing my, again, Gen X because class is in session. We learned how to network. We learned how to keep our pie holes shut. Whether we agreed or not, listen to the people who had been where we were trying to go in life. And because of that, many of our professors, many of our bosses, we didn't take our grievances to the internet because our feelings were hurt. Because see, what has just happened here, as I'm sitting here, as I was formulating if I was going to respond, and I was thinking, how many people do I know that work for the airline as flight attendants? A sorority sister that I've recently met within the last year on TikTok, someone I've known for over 20 years flies for the airline, my adopted nephew who flies for the airline, another, she's not my niece, but she's the goddaughter of one of my best friends. Lots of people. You can learn things from people. But when you put yourself out there with such reckless disregard, disrespect, who is inclined to want to put their neck out for you? And I'm not talking about you specifically, but generally speaking. And when I talked about the mental health, it was not saying that you had, I was using it as a correlation because many people use mental health as excuses, because mental health can be reasons for certain things, but they cannot be excuses to excuse certain things. And a lot of times it's lack of accountability for failure to do things or doing things inappropriately. That's the correlation. But many of you cannot accept, and I'm carefully positioned behind in front of my wall. I'm not talking because I got a mouth. I'm talking because I done earned some things. You hear me? You see me? I done earned some stuff. Sometimes you take it in stride. You learn from it. Like I suggested, you could have said, guys, don't do what I did. Because here's another thing. Based on how you handle things, they could have said, you know what? She handled that really well. We might could use her as in some training. Because see, us, have the foresight to think, okay, this person has some sense. We might could use her, how she handled the disappointment to reach a different demographic. But y'all don't think like that. Y'all only think about here and now and F everything else because the internet is forever. And you don't get to determine how someone responds to what you do out here on these internets. And what they may have, and again, I have no way of knowing, they may have not only looked at your response and say, referring to the company as bitch. They may have also gone to your page and looked at how are you displaying yourself, because see, people, what you fail to realize, youngins, organizations have a right to determine who they want to represent them. Just like if you had your own business and you had employees, you have a right to determine who you want to represent you because it is a reflection of you. And before you all say, well, you could have reached out to her, I could have. I didn't. Because it's not for her. Because I'm sure many of you, I've seen it too many times on these internet, many of you do the same thing. You only think about the here and now. You don't think about the impact of your actions downrange. Those are my thoughts. What are yours? Take that with you.